Blessings and welcome to week number 2, part 2. I started on the week on beliefs of forgiveness, and we were going to focus on beliefs of forgiveness and love, but I only focused on forgiveness because I went into deep forgiveness with the teachings, with the stories, and the deep understanding of how to go about forgiveness. And possibly I can go a little bit into it a little bit more because my teachings are deep and it's going to go very deep, and I want you to understand it from all aspects. And I spoke about forgiveness of yourself. I spoke about forgiveness of others. I gave you examples. I hope you've practiced it. I hope you've learned from your experience of forgiveness and reaching out to others. When you feel guilty, remember that God is ready to forgive you. And just as how God is ready to forgive you, God is telling you to forgive others. Others won't. Remember, we deal with human beings, guys. And we also deal with everybody having their own beliefs. Like I explained, my parents had their own beliefs of forgiveness, and I changed the norm. I changed the social norm of belief, of the belief of forgiveness. I changed it. So what I learned is sometimes you reach out to the people. Maybe sometimes they won't resonate. However, you've done your part. Simply forgiving others is necessary for your peace of mind and your heart. God calls us to forgive as He forgave us. And I think I'm going to conclude the forgiveness around that part there. Let's go about body and how to your health and how to love and care for yourself. Your body is a temple of God's holiness. How is God's holiness in your body? He created us in His own image. It's very scriptural based. It is written, it is stated, it is there, right? So there's no two ways about it. We all know we are all created in the image of God. And it is important to honor and care for your temple, which is called your body. On my TikTok page, which you'll hear me very much referring to because this is where my journey started in 2024 and how I healed my body. Before I go into that in a lot more detail, I read a book called Your Body Speaks Your Mind. So I am a person who reads a lot. I have read many books. There's one right here. My Bible, which is my first book that I go to. I've read Body Speaks Your Mind, How to Heal Diabetes, Love and Relationships, Business, Meditation, Self-Development, so on and so on. I will label a few of the books in the context. So when we say you need to honor your body, take time to appreciate the blessings that your body gives you. And also appreciate the warm sunlight. Thank God for His creation. Enjoy the beauty that God has given us today. When we talk about self-care, my analogy of how to heal your body is, firstly, it starts with what you put in your mind. So where my journey started in 2020 during COVID was a huge wake-up call for me. COVID year, people were dying around us. I was living a stagnated and a stuck life. Okay. I was addicted to television, and I was a depression patient. I was depressed from 2007. So 2007 to 2020, or actually, I'll share more of the story, but I'm talking about my 2020 story. And people are dying around us. We stuck in a home, and we realize, not we, me, I'm talking about me. I realized that I cannot be stuck like this. Firstly, being addicted to television, and television not adding any value to my life because I was watching utter nonsense. And I can say that now, because as of now, I don't own Netflix. I don't have no form of television in terms of consuming garbage. I call it garbage because that's what is out there. Because if you watch the form of garbage that is out there, it portrays out in your physical aspect. And I'll go deeper into that. But I'm talking about how I changed my mind. During COVID, we had lots of time, but I was working my 8 to 5 job. I was also a mother because my son was doing school online. I was also a spouse because I also had to take care of the household. I was also a domestic worker because we also had no domestic services. And I had a domestic worker that was with me, and I didn't have that anymore. So I had many chores and stuff that I had to accomplish in a day. But yet, I still felt like I was stuck. And the big picture was that the big picture was that people are dying around us. And I was also just diagnosed with diabetes in 2019. Okay? So I was suffering from depression. I was addicted to television. I was stuck in my mind. And I was just diagnosed with diabetes. I was just diagnosed with diabetes, and I was not happy about it because I was a very health conscious person. But due to a operation that I had to go for, that's what triggered my diabetes. And because my parents didn't have diabetes, I was not overweight, and I went to my doctor and I was very confused, and I said, and she could see that I did not take it well that I was diagnosed with diabetes. But yet she said to me, Traumaine, you need to get your mind right. You are diagnosed, and diabetes, as they say, is a killer, and you have to get your mindset right. And however, that was in 2019. It took me a long time, like a few months, probably about more than 6 months, before I came to terms with me being diagnosed with diabetes. Anyway, long story short, during COVID, I realized I was stuck. And having all these different chores to do, and sitting and watching TV till 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the hours of the morning was not working well for me. So I took a conscious decision that year to stop watching TV. Yet I had all the time in the world, but I stopped watching TV. So I learned a new skill. And what was the skill I learned? Firstly, I upped my skill on my cooking. I became a master chef in terms of so many new dishes that I learned and I made, from deep fried ice cream to there was another smashing dish. I can't remember exactly. It was a nice pork. I don't even eat pork, but I made it for my family. According to my son, who was my food critic, he loved the food. So I tried out amazing new dishes. So I learned a new skill during COVID, and which was I upped my skill, I meant, in my cooking. And then I learned a new skill, which was painting and drawing. I learned how to become a painter, and I learned how to sketch with pencil. So that is by me changing, listening to my body, because my mind was getting too damaged by the negative things I was watching on TV. And I was depressed from the COVID. And I was also depressed that I had diabetes. And if I got exposed to COVID, I could never know what could happen. And I was a claustrophobic person, because if ever you put the mask in my face, I couldn't breathe. So I was dealing with many challenges. I was claustrophobic, I had diabetes, I was depressed, all of those things. And I took a conscious decision to help myself. And how did I go about doing this? Firstly, I decided, and at this point in time, we don't even have church, right? So we're watching church online if we were lucky. However, I decided to lean into God a lot more. I decided to deal with my emotions. I needed to be thankful in everything that I do. I started to follow my faith a lot more stronger. I started to pray a lot more. And I started to feel a little bit more at ease. When stress and emotion overwhelms you, begin praising God. So I started to up my form of praise is music. I love music. Follow me on TikTok. You'll see I'm not a singer, but that's what I'm going to be learning this year. I've put out a challenge to myself that I would like to learn a new skill, which is to sing. So if anybody that's watching can teach me how to sing, please share that with me. So worshiping and thanksgiving shifted my focus from the worries of my health, from the worries of COVID, for the worries of depression, and I started to focus my goodness in God. I started to pray, I started to meditate, powerful tools to So prayer and meditation are the most powerful tools to connect with God. Through these practices, you can deepen your relationship with your God and your faith, and allow the peace to restore your soul. I am going to link up some profound meditation videos on this one, which is not mine, but it's people that I have used. Like I said, I've been on this journey for the last 5 years, and it has transformed my life. Let's talk about faith. Release your control. Remember, you cannot handle everything. And that is what I had to learn the hard way. For me to be stuck in the house with all my challenges, it was easy to try and control everything myself. But it's important to remember that you are not meant to handle it on your own. Trust on the higher power. We all know that there is a higher power. We all know that there is a God. You who is watching can be a Hindu. You can be watching, can be a Muslim. You can be watching, can be any form of religion. We all know that there is one creator that created the world. We know that for a fact. Each of us look at it in different aspects. I looked at it from my spiritual aspect, from a biblical sense, because that's what I talk about. Majority of my words and the way I've programmed and rewired my mind is through biblical scriptures that uplifts my strength, that uplifts my faith. So when I say trying to do everything in your own understanding, It is exhausting. So release what you cannot handle today. It's okay to ask for help. And God is always ever willing to provide you with it. So I shared some profound stories with you today with regards to how to heal your body. And I will go deeper into how I healed my body from depression. And I'm on the stepping stone to remove diabetes out of my body. I'm just waiting for my doctor for this year, the beginning of the year, to do my tests. And if I'm a little bit closer or how far I am from it, but I will share that in my next post. So today, listen to what your body is saying to you. I hope you are following the first week, which is the thankful challenge. You are breathing every single day. You are forgiving every single day. And today we are praying and we are meditating on God's word. As I always end every single one of my teachings, Heavenly Father, today I thank you for the wisdom of teaching me how to heal my body from sicknesses. I need to fill my mind with positivity. Help me to trust and lean into your understanding for myself today. I ask you to help me with my mind, my body, and my soul. Renew it with strength today and peace. Thank you, Abba Father. It is done, it is done, it is done. Thank you. Be blessed. Catch you in the next one. Bye.